You think you'll get rich because you read some financial guru's book, learned how to pick stocks, or followed the latest investment trend? Think again. The real problem isn't your lack of financial knowledge. It's how you think. The truth is, you could master every investment strategy on the planet and still end up broke. Why? Because wealth isn't about what you know. It's about how you behave, how you react to risk, how patient you are, how much control you have over your impulses. These are what truly define financial success. In this first part, we'll unravel the complexities of personal finance by exploring the first 5 chapters. Watch until the end to hear the steps you can take to apply the lessons from this book. You'll learn how individual experiences shape our financial behaviors, the unpredictable dance of luck and risk, and the importance of recognizing the limits of wealth. By the end, you'll gain insights into the psychological underpinnings that dictate how we view money and success. Chapter 1. No one's crazy. You ever look at someone else's financial choices and think, what the hell are they doing? Ever wonder why someone's buying stocks when the market's crashing, or stashing cash under their mattress when inflation is eating it alive? The problem is, we assume other people's decisions are irrational because we're seeing their choices through the lens of our experiences, not theirs. But here's the truth. Everyone's financial behavior makes perfect sense when you understand their background, their fears, and what money means to them. Think of it like this. 2 people can watch the same movie but walk out with completely different interpretations. Why? Because they're seeing it through the lens of their own life. The same goes for money. If you grew up during the Great Depression, you might be terrified of losing everything and never trust the stock market. If you started investing during the tech boom, you might believe in endless growth and take on more risk than someone else ever would. You see, no one's actually crazy. We're all just living in our own financial realities, shaped by our unique experiences. And if you can understand this, you'll stop judging others, stop being influenced by their decisions, and start making more level-headed choices for your financial future. Chapter 2. Luck and Risk. Think about the wealthiest person you know. Now ask yourself, was it all skill, or was there a little bit of luck in the mix? Here's the uncomfortable truth. We love to believe that success is a direct result of hard work, intelligence, and the right strategy. And yes, those things matter. But if you strip away the ego, you realize there's something we rarely talk about: luck. And on the flip side of that coin, risk. Life, and especially money, is more like poker than chess. In chess, if you make all the right moves, you win. In poker, you can have a winning hand, play perfectly, and still lose because of an unlucky card. That's life. That's money. The problem? Most people see success and immediately attribute it to skill. Oh, they must be a genius. But when someone fails, we say they didn't know what they were doing. What we miss is the invisible role of luck in boosting people up and the equally invisible role of risk in pulling people down. And this ignorance has a ripple effect. People who don't account for luck often become arrogant, overconfident, and take on more risk than they should. They think they can outsmart the market, ignore risk, and that's when things spiral out of control. On the other hand, if you underestimate risk, you set yourself up for decisions that can wreck your financial future, thinking it's all about skill, when really, you're gambling with more than you can afford to lose. Here's the key lesson. You have to acknowledge both luck and risk. Be humble in success. Don't kid yourself that you did it all alone. And be cautious in failure. Sometimes it's not because you were dumb. It's because life threw a curveball. When you embrace that, you'll stop swinging for home runs on every pitch and start playing a longer, smarter game. Chapter 3. Never enough. Let me ask you this. What's your number? How much money do you need to finally feel satisfied? Here's where it gets tricky. For most people, the answer is more. And that's the problem. Because when you're constantly chasing more, you'll never actually get there. It's like running on a treadmill. You can sprint as fast as you want, but you're not going to move an inch closer to happiness or peace of mind. The problem: we don't have a fixed finish line. As soon as we reach one financial goal, we set the next one further ahead. You get a promotion, and suddenly your house doesn't feel big enough anymore. You hit a savings target, and now you're eyeing a new car. It's never ending. And in the process, we lose sight of what's truly important: our time, our health, our relationships. We sacrifice today's contentment for tomorrow's elusive more. But here's the truth that few are willing to admit. At some point, having more money doesn't change much. Studies show that beyond a certain point, wealth doesn't increase happiness. It might buy you more stuff, but it won't fill the emotional gaps you're trying to patch. The danger here is that never feeling like you have enough leads to taking risks that aren't necessary, working too much, over-leveraging yourself financially, even making poor investments to chase some elusive dream of satisfaction. Here's the key. Define what enough looks like for you. Not your neighbor, not your coworker, but you. Find that balance where money improves your life, but doesn't consume it. Because the real tragedy is when people risk everything just to find out that enough was something they already had, and they just didn't realize it. So, stop the treadmill. Step off. Recognize that fulfillment comes not from how much you have, but from knowing when you have enough. Chapter 4. Confounding Compounding. Imagine planting a tiny sapling in your backyard. It doesn't look like much at first, just a fragile stick in the ground. But give it time, water it consistently, and after years of patience, that sapling turns into a towering oak tree. Now, let's apply that to your finances. The problem most of us face: we're impatient. We want results now. We want to see our savings double in a year, our investments to skyrocket overnight. But that's not how wealth works. Wealth, real, lasting wealth, grows like that oak tree. It starts small, grows slowly, and after years of care, it flourishes. But those early years, that's when most people lose patience. This is the crux of the problem. Compounding isn't intuitive. When you look at your savings or investments, in the short term, the growth seems insignificant. That's why people get discouraged. You put money in, and you think, that's it. That's all the growth I get. And then they quit, pull out of the market, stop saving, or worse, make impulsive decisions. What they fail to recognize is that the power of compounding lies in time. The longer you stick with it, the more exponential the growth becomes. Here's the analogy. Think of compounding like a snowball rolling downhill. At first, it's just a small clump of snow, but as it rolls, it picks up more snow, grows larger, and eventually becomes this unstoppable force. That's compounding. Your money grows upon itself. But the real magic happens after years of consistent saving and investing. The earlier you start, the longer you allow compounding to work its magic. Ignoring this concept can lead to one major ripple effect: impatience. You start jumping from one investment to another, chasing quick returns, and in the process, you miss out on the long-term rewards that compounding offers. It's the classic slow and steady wins the race. But in the world of money, it's painfully true. The solution is simple, but not easy. Embrace time. Be patient with your savings and investments. Understand that the early years are like the early stages of planting. That tree growth may be slow, but if you stay the course, your wealth will flourish over time. Compounding rewards the patient, and if you want to build long-term financial security, it's the most reliable tool in your arsenal. Chapter 5: Getting Wealthy versus Staying Wealthy. You've fought your way to the top of a mountain. Every step up was grueling, exhausting, and hard-earned. But once you reach the summit, you realize the next challenge isn't just standing there with your arms raised in victory. It's staying there without falling off. In the world of money, getting wealthy and staying wealthy are two very different games. Most people think once they've made it, that's the hard part done. But here's the problem. They focus all their energy on the climb, taking risks, making bold decisions to grow their wealth. Yet they forget that staying on top requires an entirely different strategy. See, wealth is fragile. Getting rich can take boldness, clever investments, or even a bit of luck, but staying rich, that demands caution, restraint, and an appreciation for the risks that could topple everything you've built. Think of it this way: building wealth is like climbing a mountain. To get to the top, you need energy, persistence, and sometimes you've got to take calculated risks. But once you've reached that summit, the game changes. Now, it's about balance and stability, making sure one wrong step doesn't send you tumbling back down. It's not just about ambition anymore. It's about understanding that the journey ahead is about preservation, not just growth. The ripple effect of ignoring this can be devastating. You see people who've amassed fortunes only to lose it all because they continued playing the getting rich game after they'd already made it. They take too much risk, overextend themselves, and in their quest for more, they lose everything. This mindset leads to financial ruin because staying wealthy requires a completely different set of skills. It's not about the bold moves anymore. It's about protecting what you've worked so hard for. So, what's the solution? Once you've made it to a certain point, you need to shift your mindset from wealth creation to wealth preservation. That means embracing caution, thinking about longevity, and knowing when to pull back. Yes, it's fun to keep taking risks, to keep playing the game that got you here. But if you want to stay wealthy, you need to understand the value of holding back, diversifying your assets, and sometimes stepping off the gas pedal. Wealth is a two-part journey. Getting there is just the beginning. Staying there, that's the real challenge. But with the right mindset, it's a challenge you can win. By now, you're probably wondering how to apply these lessons in your own life. As promised, here are 5 strategies you can implement to achieve those financial goals that always seemed just out of your reach. Number 1, reflect on your own experiences. As mentioned earlier, people's financial decisions are deeply influenced by their unique backgrounds and experience. Consider how your background influences your financial decisions and be mindful of any biases. Whether you grew up in poverty or as a trust fund baby, understanding your own biases will give you the clarity to make better financial decisions. Number 2, stay open-minded. There's a saying that goes, "You can't teach an old dog new tricks." People tend to be set in their ways and unwilling to change. This reluctance to leave the comfort zone inhibits your ability to grow. Therefore, you must be open to opportunities that may seem risky but have the potential for significant returns. Don't let fear of failure hold you back. However, when making financial decisions, carefully consider the risks involved and weigh them against potential rewards. Number 3, create a budget. Don't get caught up in irresponsible spending. Develop a budget that prioritizes your needs and limits unnecessary spending on wants. Exercising discipline here will lead to lasting success. Number 4, begin investing early. If you're not already investing, start as soon as possible to take advantage of compounding over time. Develop a long-term investment strategy and resist the temptation to make frequent changes based on short-term market movements. Then, set up automatic contributions to your investment accounts to ensure consistent growth over time. Number 5, create a safety net. Living for today without a care in the world for tomorrow may feel good in the moment. But before you know it, you're struggling trying to claw your way back to the top. You never know what tomorrow holds. Therefore, you need to build an emergency fund and have insurance to protect against unexpected financial shocks. As we wrap up this first exploration into the psychology of money, remember that every financial decision is influenced by our past and perceptions. In the next part, we'll dive deeper into the concept of compounding and what it truly means to build wealth over time. Stay tuned as we uncover the power of patience in financial growth in part 2. So, show some love by liking, subscribing, and clicking that notification bell so you never miss a video. Until next time.